Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever felt like, you're working incredibly hard, doing absolutely everything right, and yet, financial freedom just always seems to stay just out of reach?
It's a pretty heavy question, right? Why are you still living paycheck to paycheck? I want to speak directly to that frustration for a second, because honestly, it's incredibly common and it's entirely valid. It's just exhausting. You look at your bank account and you kind of assume that being broke or, barely scraping by is simply your permanent reality. It's so easy to conclude that there literally just isn't enough to go around. But in today's explainer, we're going to challenge that assumption completely, and we're going to completely reframe how you look at your own potential.
Act 1. The illusion of the desert.
You see, when you're constantly stressed about making ends meet, your world just shrinks. Imagine you're standing in a completely barren desert. You look around in every single direction, the heat is just beating down on you, and survival, it feels impossible. You assume there is absolutely no water anywhere. Well, this is exactly what it feels like to look at a low bank balance and conclude that there is an absolute lack of money available in the world. It feels like a permanent drought. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how people actually react to this desert. Most default to a scarcity mindset. They look around and ask, how can I make more money? Or they just give up and conclude there isn't enough to go around. But a capability mindset, that asks a completely different question. It asks, what skill would allow me to make more money? It's a total game changer because it entirely reframes the problem.
Act 2. The underground stream. Because this is exactly where we pivot. The environment itself, it hasn't changed. But here's the massive twist. There is actually a stream flowing right underneath your feet. The wealth, the economic abundance, it isn't miles away in some distant oasis. It exists right beneath you. You aren't lacking water, you're simply lacking the tools to dig down and reach it. Because let's be real, you can't exactly dig through hard clay with just your bare hands and a good attitude.
So the crucial point is this. A lack of money in your life does not necessarily mean there is a lack of money in the world. I really want you to think about that for a second. Economic opportunity exists in massive, massive abundance. The money isn't missing, only your access to it is. That's a profound shift in perspective, moving from there just isn't enough to, okay, how do I actually get to it?
Act 3. Getting the shovel.
So if the water is down there, we obviously can't just stand around waiting for a geyser to erupt, right? What exactly is the shovel in this scenario? Well, it represents the specific knowledge, skills, and tools required to access that underground income. Like we said, you don't dig through dirt with your bare hands, and you definitely don't access new financial streams without the right equipment. The shovel is your capability. It's the practical toolkit you build to break through the barriers that are separating you from the opportunity.
Let's move to and see how this builds into practical reality. It really takes 3 simple steps. Step 1, stop looking for money and start looking for skills. Step 2, find that stream by learning to recognize where demand actually exists in the market. And step 3, invest in your ability to access that opportunity. You do that by continually improving how you solve real problems for other people.
Now, what specific skills actually make up a good shovel? Things like sales, marketing, communication, technology, leadership, and problem solving. And listen, these are not just corporate buzzwords. They are literally the heavy machinery of wealth creation. Learning how to write a highly persuasive email or, fix a complex software bug. That is literally building yourself a bigger shovel. So ask yourself, which of these are you currently missing?
Having these skills completely alters how you see the world. An unskilled person looks at a crowded market and they just panic. They see nothing but competition. But a person equipped with a shovel, say someone who truly understands marketing, they look at that exact same market and they see enormous opportunity. The hidden streams of demand are rarely obvious to the untrained eye. Your job right now is to train your eye.
And this brilliantly illustrates the core truth. Your income potential expands identically to your ability to create value. It's a direct one-to-one correlation. You learn the skills, you apply them, and you solve problems. The bigger the problems you can solve with your shovel, the deeper you tap into that underground stream.
Act 4. Striking lottery.
This is where all that theoretical knowledge actually translates into life-altering results. Look at this bottom line. You may not need to find a world where more money exists. You may need to become the person who knows how to reach the money that's already there. I really want to let that sink in for a second. You don't need to move mountains. You just need to evolve your own capabilities.
Which brings us to the absolute most important question of this entire explainer journey. Now that you know the money isn't missing, only the skills are. What shovel are you going to pick up today? Are you going to study sales? Are you going to master a new piece of technology? The stream is literally flowing beneath your feet right now. It's time to start digging.